pause for a moment and let everything around you slow down. Because this reflection from Psalm 139 is a reminder that nothing about your life has ever been hidden from God, and every detail of your journey is already fully known, fully seen, and fully held within His understanding. Allow yourself to slow down inwardly, because this is not just a passage to hear, but a truth to receive deeply, where God's complete understanding of your life becomes the foundation of peace rather than pressure. Today, we are walking through the reality that you are fully known by God, not in fragments, not in assumption, but in total understanding, where nothing about your thoughts, your journey, your silence, or your struggle is hidden from Him, and yet you are still fully held in His presence. This is the kind of truth that reshapes how you see yourself, how you process life, and how you respond in seasons of uncertainty, because divine understanding does not only observe you, it sustains you. Before we go deeper, I want you to stay engaged with this message all the way through, because there is a place in this teaching and prayer where clarity, peace, and restoration begin to settle in a very personal way. And it is important that you do not rush past it. If this message speaks to you, take a moment right now to like this video, and then write a comment below. I am fully known and fully loved by God, so that you are intentionally agreeing with what God is doing in your life through this moment. From the beginning of this truth, the listener is invited into something quiet but deeply transformative, the realization that they are fully known by God. Psalm 139 opens this understanding with a gentle weight. Lord, you have searched me and known me. And this is not a distant observation, but a personal reality. It means that nothing about your life is hidden from God's awareness. Not your thoughts, not your emotions, not even the things you struggle to put into words. This is the foundation of divine understanding, that you are not partially seen, but completely known. This knowledge is not only about awareness, but about relationship. God's understanding of you is not mechanical or detached. It is intimate, careful, and intentional. He does not guess who you are. He knows you in fullness. Every detail of your life is already within His attention, even the things you consider insignificant. This begins to shift something inward, where the pressure of trying to be understood by others slowly loses its weight, because you are already fully understood at the highest level. There are moments in life when people feel misread, misjudged, or overlooked. Yet divine understanding does not operate on human limitation. As it is written in Jeremiah 1:5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." This reveals that your identity was not discovered later in life, but established before your beginning. That means your existence carries intention, not accident. Even your process is known, not ignored. Nothing about your formation was random, and nothing about your journey is outside divine awareness. This truth begins to shift how you see your struggles. What you call confusion, God already sees with clarity. What feels like delay to you is not delay in His understanding. He is not confused by your life. He is not reacting to your circumstances. He's already present within every stage of them. This is the depth of divine understanding, that nothing about your current state is unknown or unaccounted for. The psalm continues to reveal that even your movement is known. Your rising and your resting are before Him. This means your life is not only watched, but held. There is a difference between being observed and being sustained. God does not only see you, He supports your existence with constant awareness. You are never outside His sight, even in your silence, even in your pauses, even in the moments where you feel nothing is changing. There are hidden places within every person, thoughts they do not speak, emotions they do not share, questions they carry privately. Yet even there is no separation from God's knowledge. As Hebrews 4:13 reminds us, nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. This includes the unseen burdens of the heart. This is not meant to create fear, but reassurance, because what is fully known by God is also fully held by him. So the listener begins to understand that divine knowledge is not invasive, it is protective. God does not look at you to condemn you. He sees you to keep you. His awareness becomes a covering rather than a threat. Even your weaknesses do not surprise him. Even your failures do not remove you from his understanding. He knows the full story, not just the visible chapter, and he remains steady through all of it. This truth is received deeply. It begins to loosen the need for constant explanation. You stop trying to justify your existence or perform for validation. Psalm 139 quietly releases you from that burden. If you are already fully known by God, then you are not required to constantly prove yourself to creation. Life begins to shift from performance to alignment, from pressure to rest, from self-defense to quiet confidence. The psalm also speaks of God's involvement before your beginning, showing that you were formed in the inward parts and woven together in the womb. This reveals that your life was not randomly assembled, but carefully constructed with intention. Every part of your existence carries meaning, even what you do not yet understand about yourself. Your personality, your temperament, your strengths, and even your process of growth are all part of divine design. When this truth settles, it begins to change interpretation of life itself. Delays are no longer seen as abandonment, but as formation. Weakness is no longer seen as disqualification, but as part of design. Even silence becomes meaningful, because divine understanding does not waste time. It shapes it. What feels unfinished to you is already fully understood by God. There is also a protective dimension to this knowledge. To be fully known by God means you are also fully guarded in his awareness. Nothing can approach your life without passing through divine understanding. This does not mean life is without challenges, but it does mean nothing is outside divine oversight. Even when you do not understand what is happening, you are not outside of his comprehension or care. This leads into the awareness that divine understanding is not only about origin, but also about direction. Psalm 139 shows that your days are already formed and known by God. Life is not unfolding in randomness, but within divine order. Your journey is not a sequence of accidents, but a path already held within his knowledge. This brings a different kind of peace for those who feel uncertain or behind in life. When you understand that your days are already known by God, the pressure of control begins to loosen. It does not remove responsibility, but it removes anxiety. Even what feels unexpected to you is not unknown to him. Nothing catches him off guard, and nothing falls outside his awareness. There is also reassurance in knowing that your process is not wasted. Waiting seasons are not empty in divine understanding. If your days are already known by God, then even waiting is part of formation. Nothing is idle. What feels like delay is often preparation within a design you cannot yet see. This also speaks into comparison, where human measurement creates unnecessary pressure. Psalm 139 brings identity back into alignment. You are not defined by timing alone, but by purpose. God's knowledge of your life is complete, not rushed or delayed. Your journey is not competing with anyone else's journey. It is unfolding within its own divine structure. The psalm further reveals that God's thoughts toward you are vast and uncountable. This shows that divine understanding is not cold or distant, but deeply attentive. God does not only know you, he thinks about you. This means your life is held within continual divine consideration. You are not forgotten between moments. You are remembered within them. This truth gently reshapes how value is understood. In human experience, value is often assigned through recognition or achievement. But in divine understanding, value is established through attention. You are not fighting for awareness. You are already within it. His thoughts toward you are not occasional. They are constant. There is also a refining effect in this understanding. When you realize that God's knowledge of you is complete, it begins to expose where your self-understanding is incomplete. There are areas where you may underestimate yourself, and areas where you may misinterpret your own journey. Divine understanding does not flatter distortion. It brings alignment to truth. This stabilizes identity. When your understanding of yourself is anchored in being fully known by God, you become less dependent on external opinions or internal fluctuations. You begin to stand in a steadier awareness, where worth is not negotiated by circumstances, but grounded in divine knowledge. At its deepest level, this teaching leads to a simple but profound realization. You are not becoming known by God over time. You are becoming aware that you have always been fully known. As this truth settles deeper within the heart of the listener, there is a natural turning inward, where understanding begins to become response. It is no longer only about what God knows, but about what the soul now chooses to rest in. The weight of Psalm 139 becomes personal in this moment, not as information, but as a living awareness that holds the entire life of the listener in divine clarity. And from that place, something begins to loosen within. The need to hide, the need to struggle alone, the need to carry what was never meant to be carried without God. What was once confusion begins to settle under the weight of divine understanding, and what was once pressure begins to give way to quiet surrender. In this place, the heart begins to yield into prayer, not from panic, but from awareness. Father, in this moment of quiet surrender, you meet the one listening with a presence that does not overwhelm, but steadies. You who have searched and known them completely now draw them into the comfort of being held by that same knowledge. Where their thoughts have been scattered, bring order. Where their heart has been burdened, bring release. Where their spirit has felt uncertain, bring clarity that cannot be shaken. Lord, let every place within them that has carried silent weight begin to loosen under your presence. Not through struggle, but through your authority that speaks peace into disorder. Let what has been heavy begin to shift, not by force, but by your nearness. You know what they cannot fully explain, and you understand what they have not been able to articulate. In that understanding, begin to restore what has felt worn down within them. Let there be a gentle breaking of internal pressure, the kind that has built up over time through unanswered questions, delayed understanding, and unseen battles. Where the mind has been overthinking, bring stillness. Where the heart has been overworking, bring rest. Where the soul has been quietly exhausted, bring renewal that does not fade quickly, but remains steady and deep. Father, as you see their rising and their resting, let their rest become sacred again. Let sleep no longer carry anxiety. Let waking no longer carry heaviness. Let the rhythm of their life begin to align with your peace. Because nothing about their condition is hidden from you, and nothing about their future is outside your reach. Surround them with the awareness that they are not forgotten, not abandoned, and not outside your attention. Even when they feel unseen by people, let them feel the steadiness of being fully known by you. And now, in this place of surrender, clarity begins to return where confusion has lingered. Direction begins to form where uncertainty has been. Strength begins to rise where weariness has taken hold. The voice of fear begins to lose its influence over their thoughts, and the quiet assurance of your presence begins to stabilize their inner world. In the name of Jesus, every hidden chain of confusion that has clouded their thinking is broken and released from its hold. Every cycle of mental oppression, every pattern of fear that has repeated itself in their thoughts, is interrupted by the authority of divine truth. Every voice that has spoken limitation over their life is silenced under the weight of God's knowledge over them. What was spoken in ignorance over their journey is now overturned by the wisdom of heaven. They declare that they are not lost, not forgotten, and not outside of divine order. They receive clarity where there has been mental fog, direction where there has been hesitation, and peace where there has been inner unrest. Every assignment of confusion that tried to distort their identity is rendered powerless. The truth that they are fully known, fully seen, and fully held by God stands firm over their life. They proclaim restoration over every area that has felt delayed or drained. Every wasted season is now being gathered into divine purpose. What seemed scattered is being reordered. What seemed broken is being rebuilt. And what seemed silent is being revived by the hand of God. Strength returns in places where weariness tried to settle, and their life begins to align again with divine order. Every spiritual weight that has pressed against their peace, it is lifted under the authority of God's presence. Every invisible burden that has lingered in the background of their thoughts is released now. Every plan that was not rooted in God's purpose is cancelled. Every influence that sought to derail their identity is broken. And every assignment of delay not ordained by heaven is rendered powerless. They declare that their mind is protected, their heart is stabilized, and their path is being guided with precision. No weapon formed against their clarity will succeed, and no lie spoken against their identity will take root. The knowledge of God surrounding their life becomes their covering, and the awareness of His presence becomes their defense. They receive healing in the places where disappointment tried to settle. They receive strength where weakness has lingered. They receive peace that stabilizes their emotions and restores balance within their inner world. Every broken expectation is surrendered, and in its place, divine restoration begins to rebuild what was thought to be lost. Reclaim every part of their journey that was touched by delay, misdirection, or unseen struggle. Nothing belonging to their purpose will remain scattered. Everything assigned to their life by God is being gathered back into alignment. What was held back is released. What was blocked is opened. And what was stagnant is now being activated by divine order. They declare that their future is not defined by their past. The limitations of yesterday no longer hold authority over today. Every word spoken against their progress is rendered null under divine truth. Their story is being aligned with heaven's understanding, not human limitation. They step into agreement with the word that sustains life, that they will see goodness in the land of the living. Every narrative of defeat is cancelled, and they walk forward in quiet assurance, not in fear, not in confusion, but in the steady awareness that they are fully known by God, fully held by His presence, and fully established under His unchanging understanding. Father, as this prayer rests over the life of the listener, let there be a steady and continuing deepening of your presence within their inner world. Let nothing about this moment fade quickly or remain surface level, but let it settle into something lasting, something that becomes part of how they think, how they process, and how they carry themselves forward. You who have searched them and known them completely remain constant, and your understanding of their life holds every detail with perfect clarity. God, where there has been emotional heaviness that has lingered quietly over time, begin to lift it in a gentle and sustained way, not through sudden change, but through your steady hand that restores without strain. Let what has felt heavy in their thoughts begin to ease. Let what has created tension within their emotions begin to loosen. And let what has felt unspoken within them find quiet release in your presence. We declare over their life that confusion no longer has authority to define their thinking. Every thought that has worked against peace is brought into alignment with your truth. Every cycle of overthinking that has drained their strength is interrupted by the stability of your presence. Let clarity return in a way that is calm, consistent, and grounded, not fleeting, but settled. Father, continue to restore what has been weakened through seasons of pressure and silent struggle. Restore their emotional strength where it has been worn down. Restore their sense of direction where it has felt unclear. Restore their confidence where it has been shaken over time. Let nothing within them remain unaddressed by your renewing hand. In the name of Jesus, every remaining influence of heaviness is broken from their life. Every unseen burden that has followed them into quiet moments is lifted now. Every subtle voice of doubt that has tried to weaken their identity is silenced. Every assignment that has worked against their peace is cancelled, and stability, order, and rest are released over their mind and emotions. Let restoration continue to flow into areas that still feel incomplete. Where there has been delay, bring alignment. Where there has been stagnation, release movement. Where there has been loss, bring healing that restores balance within their inner world. Let nothing remain untouched by your steady work of restoration. Father, remind them again in a deep and quiet way that they are not forgotten. Even in silence, you are present. Even in waiting, you are working. Even in unseen seasons, your understanding over their life remains complete. Nothing about their journey is hidden from your awareness, and nothing about their future is outside your care. Let this awareness become stronger than every internal doubt. Let it become the foundation that steadies their thoughts when emotions fluctuate and when circumstances feel uncertain. Let it remind them that they are never outside your attention, never outside your care, and never outside your understanding. We declare over their life that peace is no longer temporary, but becoming their steady place. Every voice that has tried to disturb their clarity is silenced. Every thought that has resisted truth is brought into alignment with your word. Every internal conflict that has drained their strength is now settled under the authority of your presence. Father, continue to establish restoration in every part of their journey. Restore consistency where there has been inconsistency. Restore direction where there has been uncertainty. Restore confidence where it has been weakened over time. Let nothing remain fractured within them that your hand cannot make whole. In the name of Jesus, every lingering assignment of heaviness is fully broken. Every pattern of fear that has tried to return is cut off from its root. Every influence that has attempted to slow their progress is removed. The hidden resistance that was not planted by you is cancelled. And freedom, clarity, and forward movement are released into their life. Let their inner world become stable under your truth. Let their thoughts no longer drift into confusion, but remain anchored in understanding. Let their emotions no longer be easily shaken, but grounded in peace. Let their spirit no longer feel disconnected, but deeply aware of your nearness. Father, remind them once more that they are fully known by you, not partially, not conditionally, but completely. Every detail of their life is already within your care. Every moment ahead of them is already within your awareness. Nothing about them is hidden from your sight, and nothing about their future is outside your understanding. Let this truth remain with them in a quiet and steady way. Not something they struggle to hold, but something that holds them. A constant awareness that steadies their mind, calms their heart, and guides their steps. And now, as this prayer settles, let them walk forward in quiet assurance, not striving, not fearing, not carrying what they were never meant to carry alone, but resting in the reality that they are fully seen, fully known, fully held, and fully guided by your unchanging understanding, now and always. As this prayer reaches its final settling place, there is a quiet sense of completion that does not feel like an ending, but like a steady continuation under the awareness of God. The listener is not being released from God's presence, but being reminded that they have always been held within it. Psalm 139 does not close with the distance, it closes with nearness, and that nearness remains even now, in this still moment where everything begins to rest. Let there be a final deep anchoring in the heart of the one listening, that nothing about their life has ever escaped divine understanding, not their silent struggles, not their unseen tears, not their unanswered questions, and not their quiet endurance. They have been fully known in every season, and they remain fully held in every step that lies ahead. This truth is not changing with time. It is steady beyond time. Father, let this awareness settle as peace that does not depend on explanation. Where the mind has tried to resolve everything, bring rest that does not require answers. Where the heart has carried questions into the night, bring calm that does not demand immediate clarity. Let your presence become enough, not as a temporary comfort, but as a lasting foundation. Let every lingering tension within their inner world be softened now, not through force, but through surrender. Let what has felt uncertain become quiet in your presence. Let what has felt heavy become lighter in your hands, and let what has felt unresolved be placed into your perfect understanding without fear. We declare that their life is not abandoned to chance, not overlooked in silence, and not forgotten in delay. Every part of their journey is still within your awareness, still within your care, and still within your unfolding purpose. Nothing has been lost outside your sight, and nothing has been disconnected from your plan. Father, as they move forward from this moment, let them not move in anxiety, but in quiet assurance. Let them not carry confusion, but carry clarity that rests beneath the surface of their thoughts. Let them not walk in inner unrest, but in a settled awareness that you are with them in every step, every decision, and every unseen moment. As this time of reflection and prayer comes to a close, the invitation is not to step away from what has been received, but to remain rooted in it. The truth of Psalm 139 is not something to visit only in moments of prayer, but something to carry into daily life. They are fully known by God, not partially, not conditionally, but completely, and that awareness is meant to steady them long after these words have been spoken. Let this understanding walk with them into their decisions, their thoughts, their quiet moments, and even their uncertainties. When life feels unclear, return to this truth. When emotions feel heavy, return to this truth. When questions rise within them, return to this truth. They are not forgotten, they are not hidden, and they are not outside the awareness of God. His understanding surrounds their life with a steadiness that does not break. If this message has spoken to their heart, let it not end here. Let them take a moment to reflect and allow this truth to remain active within them throughout their day. And as they go forward, let them walk without fear, without confusion, and without the burden of trying to be understood by everyone, because they are already fully understood by the one who matters most. Let them stay in peace, stay grounded, and remain under the quiet covering of divine understanding.